All right, so what we're doing here is opening up the shaft to 28 inches so that when we put the 26-inch pipe in it, it'll fit, and then we can penetrate at 24 inches. So this is just the start of a slurry hole, just drilling the dirt right now and prepping for the rest of it. So we've gotten down to right around 21 feet, and we're starting to pull up the sand or the wet sand. And so what happens once you're at that point is the hole won't stay open. It'll just continue to collapse because there's so much water and sand down there, and basically the sidewalls have no integrity. So what we have to do is create an environment that will hold that hole open. The way we do that is with head pressure. So we're going to start filling the hole all the way up to the top with water and bentonite. Bentonite's a material you can get from pretty much any drilling vendor company. And what that does is it helps create a wall cake and an environment that not only will the head pressure hold the sand and the water out as we remove the material, but it also creates, like I said, a wall cake. So what you're going to do is reverse drill and keep your auger. It's basically a mixer or a whisk. You're going to keep your auger just under the top of the water and reverse drill, so you're actually mixing that bentonite into the water, and that'll get a good mix. You want to have consistent bentonite being put into the hole as long as you're filling it up, and make sure your ground hand is keeping your auger, like I said, right at the top. So this is kind of what it looks like as you finish, and then as we're pulling material out with the mud bucket, you want to keep filling the hole up because you're going to be pulling out a significant amount of material, water, sand, bentonite, and you want to keep the head pressure up because that's what's holding the sand and the water out of the hole. So you're actually maintaining a hole. You're actually making progress. Your hole's getting deeper. It's not, you go down and take a bite, it's 21 feet. You go down and take another bite, still 21 feet. No. You go down and take a bite, and you consistently go 1 to 1.5 feet deeper, and that head pressure is what maintains your sidewalls and keeps your hole open. So we have penetrated the hole down to 30 feet, and we have run into load-bearing soil in this situation, blue shell, which is what they're wanting us to penetrate. And the hole's still full of water, still full of slurry. And we're going to go ahead and put the casing in. And so it's a 28-inch hole. That's what we penetrated with. We had a 28-inch mud bucket. And so we're going in with a 26-inch pipe. And the pipe is 32 feet long. Penetration starts at 30 feet. The pipe's 32. So it should be sticking out of the hole just a little bit. And shoving this pipe into the ground is going to be a relatively easy process because that bentonite is when you mix it with water, it expands roughly 10 times its size. And it's a super slimy substance. So it's real slick. So getting the pipe down in the ground with bentonite on the exterior is generally a pretty easy process. It also helps when you have to pull the pipe out later because it's so slick. You can see 26-inch on that spinner bar that we're using to install the pipe. So anyway, it just denotes that it's a 26-inch pipe. So we're kind of getting close. Sometimes you got to fight it a little bit. Just keep hammering. So we've got the pipe set. And we grabbed our mud bucket, went back down inside the pipe before we started penetrating with an auger just to kind of get any cuttings out. Part of the process we didn't show here is once you have your pipe set, you have to pump the hole. So you're going to go ahead and pump all the water out of the inside of your pipe. And then we take our mud bucket, we go to the bottom of the pipe, and we start cleaning out the holes best we can, the sand and the water. And once you do that, you can usually go ahead and push your casing down a little bit further. See if we catch a good shot here, but we're drilling now. We've cleaned the hole out. There's no water. There's almost no mud down there. The casing's done a good job of sealing the hole off, and we are starting to penetrate with our 24-inch auger. So the first couple of bites, it's going to be sloppy like this. It's still pretty sloppy, but then as you continue to penetrate, you know, all that water, or a little bit of extra water, kind of helps us pull up a big load of material. All right, so in this situation, the customer needed us to set the pipe, or set the cage. So it was a 60-foot cage going down into a 46-foot hole, so you got a little bit of excess there. This isn't something that you rush at any stage, but especially setting the cage. Sometimes the rungs can break, and you got people down there working around it with their arms going through the cage as they put the rollers on. So just make sure you're going slow and paying attention. Let me go ahead and cut the top off there. So another thing that we didn't really show there is once you get all that going, you want to just barely break the seal on your pipe. Okay, so here we kind of show it. Once you get concrete down at the bottom of that hole and the concrete's up past your pipe 5 to 10 feet, go ahead and really break the seal on your pipe. Because once that hole gets full of concrete, you're going to have the sidewalls and a lot of friction against the pipe on the outside of the pipe. And then that concrete down in there is also going to create some resistance. So if you fill the hole all the way to the top with concrete, sometimes you ends up to where you've got a permanent casing situation because you just don't have enough oomph to get the casing out of the hole. So once they get concrete just past the bottom of that pipe, 5 to 10 foot, go ahead and break the seal 3 to 4 foot, and once that happens, then go ahead and fill it up the rest of the way. You can see us having a kind of fight to get this thing out. It was a challenge, but we got it. And there she comes. This has been a Straight Drilling educational production. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope that it helped.